Greetings everyone. Pseudoexfoliation has been known since ages and is deposited as a grayish-white fibrogranular amyloid-like material. It comes with a bag of surgical implications like zonular weakness, poor pupillary dilatation, and capsular phimosis. A good preoperative planning, like use of NSAID eye drops, specific IOL, to devices to tackle pure pupillary dilatation, etc., can help in achieving better outcome. A surgeon should be equipped with various devices to tackle pupillary meiosis. Additionally, various intraoperative measures like OVD for corneal haze, pupilloplasty devices, CTR can be kept ready at the back of the mind to tackle various complications. Patients should be pre-informed about the guarded visual prognosis in such pseudo-exfoliation cases and should be informed about different intraoperative and postoperative complications and long-term follow-up. This first case was a case of combined phaco with trabeculectomy from single superior site. Routine triangular scleral flap was dissected and the whole dissection was completed using crescent. Side port was created and trypan blue was injected. Capsular axis was created using a 26 gauge band cystitome and a 2.8 mm keratome was used to create the main entry. A successful hydrodissection was done and then phacoemulsification was proceeded using low parameters with terminal chop and multiple chop technique. It is important to note that the parameters should be on a lower side. Irrigation and aspiration was done using Simcoe and a small 2 clock hour zonular dialysis was noted at the end of irrigation and aspiration in inferotemporal quadrant. Sionese capsular tension ring was implanted from the main port using bimanual maneuver and which leading to a stabilization of zonular dialysis. A glistening free hydrophobic aspheric foldable IOL was implanted with orientation of haptic in the line of zonular dialysis. At the end, trabeculectomy was completed with en-bloc dissection and the scleral flap was sutured. Conjunctiva was opposed. The second case shows various surgical steps in a well-dilated IMC case with pseudoexfoliation. After creation of successful side port, a blue dye was injected and washed out. OVD was used to remove the air bubbles. Capsular axis was started with band 26 gauge cystitome. In pseudo-exfoliation courses, generally it is noted that the capsule has an altered elasticity, so the rhexis was done in a slow, stepwise fashion to avoid sudden runoff or extension. Frequent use of ocular viscoelastic devices, that is OVDs, is recommended during the rhexis creation process and the completion. This leads to a successful creation of continuous curvilinear capsular axis. Single step incision with 2.8 mm keratome was made as the main port. Another side port was also created. After completion of hydrodissection and with the use of low parameters, phacoemulsification was started and nucleus was bisected using terminal chalk technique. Multiple chop was done and each quadrant was removed safely and softly. It is important to note again that lower parameters and step-down phaco should be practiced in such case, leading to a successful nuclear emulsification. Bimanual irrigation aspiration was done and cortex was removed completely without any complication. It was noted that the cortex was a little bit more adherent to the capsule. This is a frequent thing which is observed in pseudo-exfoliation cases even after successful hydrodissection. Since the patient was diabetic, a yellow heparin-coated Zeiss lens was implanted. The main important thing is the heparin coating of the lens. This was selected because a patient who is diabetic and has pseudoexfoliation has a higher chance of postoperative inflammation leading to multiple IOL deposits. So a heparin coated IOL can really help a lot in reducing the IOL deposits which can improve the quality of the vision. The IOL was well placed inside the bag. The last case which I am going to show has corneal scarring, over pupillary dilatation and intraoperative meiosis. During phacoemulsification, multiple fragments were created. Iris was frequently prolapsing from the main port, leading to iris chafing and further increased floppiness of the iris. Every time the iris prolapsed, it was reposited before the insertion of a phacoprobe. This repeated iris prolapse and reinsertion led to an area of iris atrophy and increased floppiness. This increased the amount of complicated situation in this case. Chopping of nucleus was difficult due to pupillary meiosis and increased floppiness of the iris. The surgeon used low parameters and chopped the nucleus into multiple small fragments. This gave two benefits. Firstly, the debulking of the nucleus gave more space to work along, and secondly, smaller fragments led to an energy effective phacoemulsification. As you can see, successfully all the parts of the nucleus was removed. Cinco was used for irrigation and aspiration, and in order to ease the cortex removal, surgeon shifted to red glue. Even during this step of irrigation and aspiration, we can see that iris was further prolapsing due to the floppiness and the pseudoexfoliation segment. Looking into the amount of iris manipulation and expected post-op inflammation, a yellow heparin-coated hydrophobic preloaded Zeiss lens was implanted in this case also. We studied 127 cases in our institute and found out that hypertension was the most common systemic association. Around 22% had shallow anterior chamber and 55% cases had grade 2 nuclear sclerosis. A whopping 65% cases had poor pupillary dilatation, although the PCR and ZD were lower than 5%. Postoperatively, 12% had post-op inflammation, and a very small amount of the patient had raised IOP and led to an aphakic stage. In our series, we did not observe any association of pseudoexfoliation with diabetes, and also we noticed that there was increased association with floppy iris as evidenced earlier. Over a period of 3 years, there was not a single case of capsulophimosis. So we conclude that a meticulous planning, appropriate choice of IOL, and liberal use of OVD along with backup devices and low phaco parameters with the step-down phaco is the key to a successful outcome